learners. I welcome you again for this program, Learn at Home. At the same time, I don't forget to sanitize my hands, and I advise you to do the same. And you know, these days, everywhere you go, they talk about COVID-19. Yeah, we are back again, as I have already told you. But I'm starting with the word appreciating these people here, because they have already sent their work. Immediately you stop, you put the pen down, and within 30 minutes you find somebody already sending the work. That's good. Kiyumbi, Hudson, Joy Primary School, Nalwada, Hajara, Rays of Grace Junior School, Ryan, Masiga, Taiba International School, Aliyo Sean, Makindi Junior, Najemba Hillary, Joy Primary School, Kwikiriza Justin, Kampala Parent School, good boy. Muyang Ashley, thank you, Kampala Parent School, good girl. Then Twin, Brooke, all these people have read their names. They have completed their work already, and they have already sent their work. And there are others which are coming. You know, they keep flowing. And I've gone through your work. You're doing well. Continue doing your work, Wama. Then somebody has asked, I forgot the names. He's saying that, is circumference the same as perimeter? I have a subtopic for that. I'm going to handle that one immediately after this one I'm handling today. I'm going to handle that. And you will see that circumference is not equal to perimeter somewhere. Because when we talk of the circumference, we are looking at the distance of the curved. But in some parts of circles, when we draw, they have just a small curve. And that small curve is what we call the circumference. So you will understand more when we go to handle that topic. Then other people were complaining of number 2, and that is the number I'm starting with. So I'm going to start with the second number when you are still fresh in the sitting room there. The number says, Owori rolled a drum of diameter 42 centimeters. He rolled the drums of diameter 42 centimeters. I've already told you that this is the drum. And you know the drum is too big. At times it is heavy for someone to carry it. So what do you have to do? You have to roll it. When you are taking it to a particular place, you do it like that. So, what has Owori done? They have said here, Owori rolled a drum of diameter 42 centimeters. How many times will he roll it to cover a distance of 6.6 meters? Somebody was asking me, Mrs. Okui, I failed to get the distance. I did not ask you for the distance. They are saying, how many times will he roll it to cover? Will he roll? How many times? Underline this word. Many times. Here we are asking the number of turns he will make. He's asking for the number of turns. And the number of turns means the number of revolutions. So, I had already what? So, I'm starting with that number. The first thing which I have to do is to get the circumference. I'm going to get the circumference. I will say circumference equals. Now, if I'm getting the circumference, they have given me the diameter. Which formula am I using? Good girl. Somebody is saying pi d. I know there are people who are already in the sitting room. So we say pi, since 42 is the multiple of 7, we are going to say 22. We are using pi as 22 out of 7 times 42 centimeters. By 7 here once, 42 divided by 7, what do we get? Get here? Yes. So we have here 22 times 6 centimeters. 6 times 2, what do you get? Addition. Yes. 12. Write 2, you carry 1. 6 times 2 again. Good. 12 plus 1, 13. So we get this. That is the circumference of the drum. The circumference of the drum is this. Now, how many times will he roll it to cover a distance of 6.6 meters? There is a problem here. I have heard somebody saying problem with the units. What is the problem with the units? The units are not the same. So what do we have to do? We have to change the meters to centimeters. We can also change centimeters to meters. But at times the work becomes complicated for you because we always look for things where you understand quickly and does not disturb you with the division. Are you getting that? So we are changing this bigger unit to a smaller one, which is the centimeters. How are we going to change this? We're going to say 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. If you can still remember the other work, I gave you a scale somewhere when I was starting the work. So now 6.6, this is where people were having problem. 6.6 meters will be equal to 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters. 2 meters will be 200 centimeters. 3 meters will be 300 centimeters. Now, what are they doing? They are multiplying. I can even hear somebody saying it. So we say 6.6 times 100 centimeters. Write this 6.6 as a fraction. So it will be 66 out of 10 times 100 centimeters. We cancel the zeros. So we have here 66 times 10. What do we get? 660 centimeters. We have changed the distance given to centimeters. I did not ask you for a distance, but I have asked you for the number of revolutions. So now, since we have the circumference here, and then we have the distance here in centimeters, we are now going to get the number of revolutions. I gave you this formula, number of revolutions. I'm writing it in what? So, equals the distance divided by circumference. What is our distance? Good. Somebody has said the distance is 660 centimeters. 660 centimeters. Divide by the circumference. What is the circumference? Good. 132 centimeters. We cancel this with that. We are looking for the common factors. I can hear somebody already saying 2. Yes. By 2, what do we get? 3, 3, 0. By 2 here, what do we get? We are coming again to 66. We are looking at this. Let me transfer it here where we can all see. We have 330 already. Out of 66. I look at 33. By 33 here, what do we get? 10. By 33, what do we get here? 2. 2 ones. 2 here, what do we get? 5. So what do we have here? We have 5 revolutions. Underline your work. So I don't know where you have not understood. If you have followed it properly and you have started from the beginning, then it means you have understood that. I take you to the second number. We are now going back to the second number because the second number is now simple. The first number is now simple. Why have I started with this one? Because many people were complaining of this number, that they have not understood, they failed to get the distance. I did not give you to get the distance. Now we go to number 1. I'm writing here number 2. Here is number 1 because I started with number 2. Number 1 is saying, let me stand this side where you are able to see it properly. How many revolutions can a wheelbarrow tire of radius 7 centimeters make to complete a distance of 8.8 meters? The way we have done this number is exactly the way we are going to do number 1. We are starting with the circumference. We are saying circumference equals, here they have given us the radius, so we use 2 pi r, which is giving us 2 times 22 out of 7 times 7 centimeters. By 7 here, by 7. 22 times 2, what do we get? 44 times 1 centimeter. That is 44 centimeters. Then the next thing we go to changing the units. I would write it there, change the units. We are having meters and we are having centimeters. These are 2 different units. So what do we say? 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. 8.8 meters will give us 8.8 times 100. Write this 8.8 as a fraction. So it's giving us 8 out of 10 times 100 centimeters. Cancel this with that. This is giving us 880 centimeters. There's one thing I have forgotten. Somebody has reminded me. I've heard somebody saying underline. Yeah. The other time I told you that there are 3 things you are to underline. If I give you 2 numbers, those are 6 marks because I want to see the 3 things. And if it is a primary living examination question, those are 6 marks. For you to get the circumference, 2 marks. To change this unit to centimeters, 2 marks. And then to divide this and get the number of revolutions, you get 2 marks. Those are 6 marks. That's why I want you to underline this. I've always told you when I'm teaching, that's why some people know what I want. And when you come to the main answer, you make 2 lines. So here, since I've got 44 as the circumference, I make 1 line. I've changed 8.8 meters to centimeters. I also draw 1 line. Then the last part of it, we get the number of revolutions, which is giving us, which we are using this, divide by the circumference. And our work, the moment we reach there, our work is now simple because we know the distance, which is now good. Divide by 44, which is the circumference. So we go there, 44 centimeters. Centimeters will go with that. 44 here. You can even say 44 here once. Here 44. What do we get? 2, 0. So what do we have? 20 revolutions. This is our number of revolutions. And then underline using 2 lines. So that is what we did in the previous lesson. In the previous lesson, I was getting the number of revolutions, not the distance. Don't create what I have not given you. The other time I told you that don't create, don't form the work which I have not taught you and given you. So we are going direct to the another topic which is already been on the board. More about application of circumference. More about the application of circumference. Applying the knowledge of circumference in our daily activities. The other time I told you, driving, after covering a certain distance, how many revolutions have you made? So when I was talking about that, there are three things I have always been mentioning. 1, the number of revolutions. 2, the distance. 3, circumference. So those are the things I'm looking for. So in the first part of our work, I gave you to find the number of revolutions. But now, let us look at the question. What are they asking for? Let's read together. Example 1. The distance from town A to B, the distance from town A to B can be covered by a wheel of diameter 35 centimeters in 1,000 revolutions. See, I have put this caret here. There is something I put here. There is a symbol I put here. It is called caret. I put this caret here to show you that there is something up there. So how many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3. So this is 1,000 revolutions. What are they asking for? What is the distance between town A and town B? I repeat. I'm going to repeat. And I want you to join me in reading this question. The distance from town A to B can be covered by a wheel of diameter 35 centimeters in 1,000 revolutions. What is the distance between town A and town B? The other time, they were giving us the distance, and then they would give us the radius or the diameter. What were we doing? We were using that to get the circumference. After getting the circumference, we were dividing the distance given by the circumference to get the number of revolutions. Now these people have changed. And it's Mr. Zokwi has written that. Today I've changed. I'm now asking you for the distance. There were some people who were asking me, Mr. Zokwi, we failed to get the distance. Yeah, today I'm now asking you for the distance you were looking for. It has come. How do you get the distance? Yes, Daniel? Good. Daniel is saying that, can we bring the formula for getting the number of revolutions? Yes, I'm going to bring that. I'm saying number of revolutions equals distance divided by circumference. Now, since they are asking you for the distance, and we know that the distance is here, let us make the distance be the subject for the formula. So what do we do? How are we going to eliminate the circumference from here so that we are able to remain with the distance on one side? Justin, I know you are there in your sitting room. What do we do? Good. He's saying we multiply both sides by the circumference. So we say number of revolution times the circumference will be equal to diameter, the distance out of circumference times the circumference. Yeah. We cancel this with that, and then we remain with that. So we have now as number of revolutions times the circumference will give us the diameter. Therefore, give us the distance mean. Therefore, distance, let me write it to there, equals number of revolutions times circumference. I want you to highlight this. I want to use a ruler. Highlight this part. That is our formula for getting the distance. This is our formula for getting the distance. We now know that if you want to get the distance, you multiply the number of revolutions by the circumference. Now the next thing, what are we going to do? Since they have given us 35 centimeters as the diameter, what do we do? Good. I like somebody is saying we get the circumference. Yes. So we say circumference equals pi d. Why pi d? Because they have given us the diameter. So what do we have here? 22 out of 7 times 35 centimeters. By 7 here once, by 7 here 5. So what do we come up with? We have here 522 times 5 centimeters. 5 times 2, what do we get? 10. Write 0, carry 1. 5 times 2 again. Good. Plus 1, 11. This is the circumference. Underline it. What is the next thing? After now getting the circumference, what do we go to? After getting the circumference, what do we do to? Because this circumference is very important. Without the circumference, you are unable to get the distance. We are now going to get, somebody is saying, we are now going to get the distance. Yes, let us move there. So we are saying distance, since we have already got it, equals number of revolutions times what? Times the circumference. What is the number of revolutions there? At the moon. Good. 1,000 revolutions. We have 1,000 times the circumference. What is the circumference? Now everybody is saying it. Yeah. 110 centimeters. What do we get here? We transfer these zeros. 1, 1, 0. How many zeros are here? All these zeros will come here. 1, 2, 3. Whenever you're multiplying anything with zeros, these figures with zeros, take care of the number of zeros. I have here 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. Times 1, we get centimeters. But there's something. Now imagine a visitor coming to your home and asking you, what is the distance from Mrs. Okwi's home to the main road? Then you say 100 centimeters. It looks funny. It sounds, imagine 100 centimeters, the distance from my home to the main road. 100 centimeters. What should we do? Like now here, they have asked us, what is the distance between town A and town B? Then you say, the distance between town A and town B is 110,000 centimeters. What should we do? Good. I like somebody there who is saying we change the centimeters to kilometers. That's good. We are saying 100,000 centimeters will give us 1 kilometer. What of 1 centimeter? How many kilometers are there? 1 divided by 100,000 kilometers? What of 110,000 centimeters? What do we do there? Justin, there I'm on you. So we say 1, good. 1 out of these times 110 centimeters. Kilometer. 100. We are now changing. So what do we get here? Because we have read the kilometers here. So we cancel how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. This one will go with this. This 0 will go with this 0. This one will go with this. And the last one will go with this. What do we have? We have 11 out of 10 kilometers. 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10 kilometers. Which is equal to 1.1 kilometers. There is something I want to tell you. If you find that you cannot reach here, then you can stop here. But it looks funny, it sounds funny for you to give the distance between town in centimeters. There you are. That is our example 1. I have got the circumference and then I've got the distance. What do I have to do? I underline this. I'm taking my time. I want you to, because somebody was telling me that I was very fast when I was teaching. Then today I'm taking my time. Get this properly. If you have my word, copy it quickly so that I can go to the next. I have another number on the board. Find the length of the wire used in the diagram below. Find the length of the wire used in the diagram below. The first day when I was here, I gave you this. This is the thread. But this one, the difference is this is the wire. That is exactly what I'm bringing here. So they've said, find the length of the wire used in the diagram below. This wire has been wound round 800 times, 800 tons. But we are able, if it goes round once, is equal to the circumference, which will give us the length within 1 revolution. So now, what are we going to start with? Amalira. Good. We are starting with the circumference, direct. We say circumference equals pi d, because here is the diameter. 14 is the diameter, which I'm going to 22 out of 7 times 14 meters. Here once, here 2. What do we get? 44 meters. That is the circumference. I've already got the circumference. Can I now rub this part? Let me remove this part and bring that number this way. I've already got the circumference. I've got the circumference. I've got the circumference. So since we have already got the circumference, what are we looking for? We are looking for the distance, which is giving us number of revolutions times circumference. What is the number of revolutions? It's this, 800. So we have 800 times the circumference, which is 44 meters. So we have 440 times 8. I have transferred this here, the zeros. There are two zeros, sorry, times 8. So what do we have here? We have 0, 8 times 4. Good. 32, write 2, carry 3. 8 times 4, 32 again. Plus the 3 we have carried, 35 centimeters. So that is the distance. That is the length, actually. That is the length of the wire. The length of the wire is 35,200 meters. Here we got the circumference. After getting the circumference of this log where they have wrought the rod where they have wound the wires, we have come here to get the length of the wire. That is what we call it, the distance. I believe that some people want to call it length. That is the correct way, actually, the length. But we use this as, so maybe we conclude, we say the length of the wire is 35,200 meters. Underline that, so that we know that we are getting the length of the wire, not the distance of the wire. Then we go to the last number, the last example. So, as I've already told you, we have completed the second example. We are going to the third example. And our third example is saying the length of a wire, 352 meters, is wound round a tin, 400 tons. Find the diameter of the tin. Find the diameter of the tin. For us to get the diameter of the tin, we should get the circumference. Are you getting it? For us to get the diameter, we have to get the circumference. How are we going to get the circumference? How are we going to get the circumference? Because what they have given us, we have the distance, which is the length of the wire. We have the number of revolutions. Now, how are we going to get the circumference? We are going back to our formula. We are now saying distance equals number of revolutions times circumference. So if we want to remain with circumference on one side, what are we going to do? We divide both sides by the number of revolutions. So we cancel this with that. Here also number of revolutions. So that we have diameter out of, distance out of number of revolutions equals circumference. Therefore, circumference equals distance divided by the number of revolutions. This is a formula for getting the circumference. So we are going there direct. We are now going to get the circumference. We say circumference equals, we have said, distance divided by the number of revolutions. So I'm going to say 352, which is the length of the wire, out of 400. Now when we look at this, division here is a bit difficult. What do you have to do? Let us change this to meters. To what? To centimeters. So what do we have? We say 352 times 100 out of 400. Why have I multiplied this by 100? I'm changing it to centimeters. I'm changing this to centimeters. Because I already used that somewhere. You know that in 1 meter, there are 100 what? Centimeters. So what are we going to do here? We cancel this with that. By 2, 2. 2 here, what do we get? 1. 7, 6. By 2 here, once by 2, 8, 8. So what have we got? We have got here 8 centimeters. That is the circumference. We have got that to be the circumference. But what are they asking for? Find the diameter. I go direct. I'm not going to delay there. I will say pi d equals circumference. That is 22 out of 7 times the diameter will give us 88 centimeters, which is the circumference. So we have 22 out of 7. D will give us 88 centimeters. Multiply both sides by 7. So that we are here once, here once. What do we have? 22D equals 88 centimeters times 7. Divide both sides by the coefficient of D. So D is equal to 28 centimeters. Yeah, that is maths. I believe that there are people who are just quiet there. But I want to go through it again. Here they've said the length of the wire is this. The length of the wire, 352 meters, is wound round a tin. 400 tons. Find the diameter of the tin. We have seen that we cannot get the diameter. Here they have not given us the diameter. We cannot get it until when we are able to get the circumference. So I've used this formula that diameter equals distance equals number of revolutions times the circumference. Have divided both sides by 2 to come to leave circumference alone on one side. I'm making circumference to be the subject of the formula. And I've come here to get circumference equals diameter divided by number of revolutions. There are now 3 formulas. Distance equals circumference times the number of revolutions. Number of revolutions equals distance divided by circumference. Circumference equals distance divided by the number of revolutions. Are you seeing now? Those are the 3 points I was talking about. Circumference, number of revolutions, distance. So now I'm giving you work. This is number 1, not number 3. This is work number 1. It's not number 3, number 1. And this one is number 2. Don't copy this one again, thinking that is number 3. Don't copy this one. This is the example. Number 1 is saying a bicycle wheel has a radius of 14 decimeters. What distance can it cover in 1 revolution? What distance can it cover in 3 complete revolutions? I've given you 1 so that you start from here and then you go to this one. Number 2, A string of length 176 meters is wound round a circular log 400 times. Find the diameter of the log. So from there, I wish you the best, but what I encourage you to do is to always do your work. Don't miss doing this work, and that's why some people, when they bring other piece of work, they get confused because they have not been following up the work. God bless you.
To participate, send a short WhatsApp video of yourself asking the teacher a question about the topic to 0705 031 609.